T, G, T, G, T, G, T, G, Tinselin, Tinselin, T, G, grumble and a groddle, Tinselin, 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 la li la lo la, Tinselin, Tinselin, a grumble and a groddle, Tinselin, 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 la li.
Chapter 8. The Strange and Magical Voice. Winter sits in the town star and listens to the carolers on the snowflake stage. They are singing the Christmas Fairy's Secret, which is one of her favorite songs. She wishes she were drinking hot chocolate, but she doesn't have her mug. The Jingle Bell Hall is already a rockin' behind her as people gather inside to decorate cookies and dance and play various board games. She listens to the lyrics for a while. Christmas fairies, with silver glittering wings, so small, so shy, you fly right by to do your magical things. You fly right by up in the sky, a silver fairy flight. Magical things with glittering wings, you sparkle in the night. Magical things with glittering wings, where is it that you go? Shh, that is fairy business, dear, and not for us to know. In the distance, kids slock on the newly designated town star slock spot, and child and youngsters skip around the central snowman. Snow has begun to fall softly, and Winter watches it fall past the hundreds of glittering Christmas lights. She reaches out into her pocket and pulls out her pet squiggle. "I want a pair of skates and a sled," it says. "Yes, yes, I know," Winter nods. She lets it float across her palm. "A pair of skates and a sled." "That is not yours, Winter," a loud voice says. Winter closes her fist and quickly looks around. Did someone else see the squiggle? The squiggle squirms in her fist. "That is not yours, Winter," the voice repeats. No one's looking at her. Everyone is busy doing normal 2 more sleeps until Christmas North Polington things. She opens her fist. "I want to..." She closes it again. "That is not yours, Winter." It doesn't sound like the voice of a person who is close. It's echoey. It's coming from somewhere else. And since no one else seems to be able to hear it, it's a strange and magical voice, Winter decides. Of course it is. She slips her pet squiggle back into her pocket and hangs her head. "Have ya heard?" a man in front of her says. "The town council approved the new giant nutcracker." "I thought we weren't sure if we actually needed a giant nutcracker," the lady that is standing beside him says. "Apparently we do," the man says. "The town engineers are going to start construction on it right after Christmas, and it'll be done by next December." "What will the giant nutcracker do?" the lady asks. The man throws his arms up in the air. "We'll crack nuts, of course," he replies as he takes the woman's hand and walks away. "A giant nutcracker," Winter says to herself. They should name it Winter. Because that's how Winter feels. Completely nutcrackers. She knows that these strange and magical things are really happening. She has a pet squiggle in her pocket to prove it. But she doesn't know why they are happening, and she wishes they were happening to someone else too. "Hot chocolate for your thoughts?" a voice asks. Winter looks up, and Nick is standing in front of her, holding out a mug of hot chocolate, still in his lederhosen, leaning on a shovel. Winter shrugs, but accepts the mug of hot chocolate. It's warm in her hands. She takes a sip and hot chocolatey goodness fills her mouth. Winter wonders if she should ask Nick about the reindeer circle, about what he was doing there talking to Dasher, but she's not entirely sure that he saw her, and if he didn't, she doesn't want to bust herself. Nick is rubbing the back of his neck with his hand. "Did a lot of shoveling today, Winter." "A lot of shoveling," he says. "What were you shoveled for this time?" Winter asks. "Climbing the antlers on Reindeer Road," Nick replies. "Again? Nick, you know better," Winter responds, rolling her eyes. "Winter, it was a triple tinsel dare. What was I supposed to do?" he asks. "I don't know," Winter laughs. "Not climb the antlers on Reindeer Road?" "Nah," Nick says, shaking his head. "It was worth it." He drops his shovel and sits down beside his sister. They sit in silence, except for Winter when she slurps her hot chocolate. "Nick?" Winter asks. "Winter?" Nick responds. "I'm not having a very Merry Christmas time," she says softly. Nick replies. "Any particular reason?" "Are ribboners real?" Winter blurts out. "Ribboners?" Nick asks, tilting his head to the side and looking at her thoughtfully. "I don't know. Probably. But no one's ever actually seen one. No one I know anyway," Winter says. "So?" Nick asks. "So, I mean, everyone says they're real and that they live like somewhere in the what-if woods. But how do we know? How do we know for sure?" Nick shifts on the bench. He rests his arm on his knees and leans forward. "They don't, I guess," he sighs. "But, Winter, just because you've never seen something doesn't mean it's not real." Winter thinks about this. "Nick?" she asks. "Winter?" he asks back. "Do you think ribboners are real?" Nick smiles. "Sure, why not?" "But you've never seen one," Winter says. "I guess that doesn't matter to me," Nick shrugs. "I don't need to see something to know it's real. In fact, some of the most powerful things in this world, Winter, are things we can't see." "Like what?" Winter asks. Nick looks at Winter. "Like love," he says, "and hope. We can't see those things, but we still believe in them, right?" Winter nods. "Yeah, but we can feel those things, Nick. I can't feel ribboners." "So you believe them because you can feel them?" "Well, Winter, maybe belief doesn't come from your eyes then. Maybe it comes from your heart." Nick is talking strange. He doesn't usually talk about hearts and stuff. "But I want to see them," Winter replies. "Then maybe you need to look with your heart," Nick says, wrapping his arm around her shoulder. "Maybe your heart can see things that your eyes can't." He doesn't usually do shoulder wraps either. "No, I don't think that's right," Winter says. "And I think you did too much shoveling today. You're acting funny." Nick laughs. "Or maybe it's just Christmas time. Maybe Christmas time is making me act funny." Winter finishes her hot chocolate. She sits with her brother and listens to the carolers. "Nick?" she asks, as the carolers leave the stage. "Winter?" Nick replies. She wants to ask him about strange and magical things, if anything strange and magical has ever happened to him, but she doesn't know how he'll respond, so instead she says, "It's hard sometimes, believing in something that you never get to see." Nick nods. "Well, let me ask you this, Winter. Which would you rather live in? A world with ribboners or a world without?" "With. Definitely with," Winter responds quickly, "because that's the truth." "Then believe," he says, smacking his knee with his hand. "And that concludes our brother-sister time. I must go now. More shoveling." He stands up and sighs. "Just like that, Nick? That's your answer? Just believe?" Winter asks, passing her mug back to her big brother. "Not everything has to be so complicated, Winter," Nick smiles, accepting the mug. "If you want to believe, then believe. Easy peasy, mistletoe squeezy." Winter wants it to be easy peasy, mistletoe squeezy, but it just doesn't seem that way right now. She feels like she's going to cry, and she doesn't want to cry in front of Nick, so she turns her head to the side. Nick looks at her and drops his shovel. He reaches out his hand to Winter. "Come on, you little non-symmetrical ornament. I'll walk you home." Winter perks up. She really doesn't want to be alone right now, and a walk home with Nick might be fun. He'll probably do something naughty on the way, and Winter can watch him and laugh. "But what about your shoveling?" she asks. "It can wait," he shrugs. "I'm shoveled tomorrow too. Now come on, let's go. We'll take the long way, down Candy Cane Lane." "I am not licking the giant candy canes," Winter says, taking his hand and standing up. "Just because you're already on the naughty list? Fine, then you can just watch me," Nick shrugs. And they walk back to Sweet Street together, and all the way home Winter forgets all about the strange and magical things, until she gets home, and her pet Squiggle says from her pocket, "I want a pair of skates and a sled." Winter rolls her eyes and puts it carefully under her pillow, partly to keep it safe and partly to keep it quiet. She falls asleep almost immediately, because 2 days full of strange and magical things is actually very exhausting. She dreams of slocks and squiggles and popcorn strings and other strange and magical things, and candy canes. She always dreams of candy canes. Whether they are grown in garland toast or golden magical trees, Winter always dreams of candy canes. She chews them in her sleep.